Hey guys, I'm Becky and welcome to another episode of Read 'em or Reap. Read 'em or Reap is a series that I started at the beginning of this year to try and tackle all of the physical unread books that I have on my shelves. We started the year with 166 books, which I don't know if I have been saying that number in the other videos. I feel like I've been saying 165, but then I also feel like I've been saying 166. So I don't know. But we are starting the year with 166 books. So far we have read 13, which means that we have 153 books left to go. Now the goal is that for 1 week, every month, I am going to be trying to read as many books as possible off of my unread shelves. The goal is to read as many as I can, but the absolute minimum is hopefully to read 2. And so far I have done very, very good on the hard and soft goals. Some months I have read 3, but I've always read at least 2. So that's good. We are making progress and that's all I can ask for. Now I'm definitely planning on doing this series until I get these shelves down to I think what would be really nice is 1 or 2 shelves of unread and the rest all be read, but we'll see what we can actually accomplish. If this is the first video of mine that you are seeing, there are, I think, 5 other Read 'em or Reap episodes that you could watch, but if you are starting here and you're sticking to it, hello, welcome. I have recently bought a house and we are currently lightly renovating it. And what I mean is it's mostly just appearances. We're painting, we're putting in carpet, things like that. So I will have some of that content in some of these videos, including this one. We are currently working on our office, so you will see some footage of that. In the last one, there was some footage of me putting together my temporary library because we are eventually, later on this year, hopefully, going to be doing built-ins and all kinds of stuff, but right now I have my shelves from our old apartment in here, and luckily they do fit all of the books that I currently own. So that is nice. So right behind me, this shelf right here, this entire unit is all unread, and I'm not sure if this is going to be its temporary permanent spot. I'm kind of thinking I want to swap because if you can see, I have 2 bookshelves together and then a little space for the air vent, and then the 3rd bookshelf. So I might switch the unread to be this far one, but that's a different day's task. The other thing is that the lighting is not amazing in here. I definitely need to find some solutions. I might just need a brighter bulb because I did paint all the walls black, and it is a lot of black currently in this room. Eventually there will be more colors. I mean, obviously my books will bring in more colors. The built-ins that we want to do are going to be green. There will be more color. But right now it is pretty dark in here and the lighting is not the best. So apologies for that. But I always start these episodes in front of my unread books, so we had to stick with it. So let's talk about what we are reading in this episode. The plan for these episodes was supposed to be me mood reading, and so far I have hardly, if not at all, done that. And this month is no different. I already have the books planned out. So let's go ahead and talk about it because we do have a ridiculous stack here. So first, the first 2 books that I'm going to talk about, I don't know if I am going to include any or much content on them because they're not technically for Read 'em or Reap, but they are physical books that I own. So me and my 2 best friends are doing a reread of the Hunger Games series. And for the month of June, I need to read The Hunger Games and Catching Fire. Now, I did currently start The Hunger Games. I'm about 50% of the way through it, so I definitely envision tonight, if not tomorrow at the latest, this will be done. And since this is a reread, it's not technically for Read 'em or Reap, so I don't know if I want to include a ton of content, because also I don't have a ton of thoughts because this is a reread. And I've seen the movie so many times, I feel like the books after this will differ a bunch because there was some differences in this book to movie, but for the most part it was pretty true. Now the rest of the books I'm pretty sure are very different because that's just usually how it is in movies, but I guess we'll find out together and also find out how good my memory is, even though I've seen the movies so many times, but this is the first time that I'm rereading the books. So yeah, I'm not sure how much content you'll see, but yes, the first 2 books are The Hunger Games and Catching Fire. Now I think I'm going to finish The Hunger Games and then read probably 2 of the 3 books that I plan for Read 'em or Reap. then read Catching Fire, and then see if I have time to fit in a third with you guys. I think that sounds like a good plan. I am unsure what order I'm going to read these in. I think I will talk about them in the order that I think I might read them in. So since it is Pride Month, I decided to go through my shelves and pick out some LGBTQ books that I have, and that is why, yet again, we are not mood reading in another episode. So the first one that I have, which this is a special edition, so this isn't the cover that you're used to, I will put a photo of the original cover so that you're like, oh, that book. I'm not positive if this is LGBTQ, but according to Goodreads tags, it is. And that is A Broken Blade by Melissa Blair. This is the Bookish Box, I believe, special edition that they came out with. It has sprayed edges. It has some iridescent elements on it. It also has fancy end papers, and it should also be signed. Yes, it is in fact also signed. So this is a book that I, like, immediately when I saw the original cover, I was like, ooh, I'm interested in that. And then the description sounds really good. It sounds like a book I would really like. I believe it is an adult fantasy. I'm like 99% sure because I am an adult librarian at a public library, and I'm like 99% sure that I bought it for my collection. But it could also be one of those books that could go either way, at least the first book. I did want to pick this up because I have been wanting to read this book for a long time. Supposedly, it has queer themes in it. We will find out together. So I think this is the first book I'm going to go with just because I think it's the most anticipated book in this pile, but we'll see. The next book that I'm hoping to get to is Ladies' Night by Amie Kaufman and Meagan Spooner. This is an advanced reader's copy. Again, this is not the final cover, so I will also put that here. I was sent this by Epic Reads, right? Yes, I was sent this by Epic Reads. I'm part of their like insider program, and they asked if they could send me a book to read, and then they will send me a survey with questions. Now this book came out, oh, it's not even out yet. Thank God. I could have sworn that this book came out last month or earlier this month, and I was like, I am so bad at my job. But actually, according to the spine, it comes out on the 25th. So luckily, it has not come out yet, and I can read this, because I was like, they still haven't sent me the questions, but that makes sense because it's not out yet. I really wished that I had an audiobook for it, but I'm gonna have to physically read it, and that's the only thing that's like been holding me back from reading it already. Plus, you know, moving in and renovating a house has also been a bit of a task. So hopefully we can get to this many books. And then the third and final book that I'm hoping to get to is May the Best Man Win by Z.R. Ellor, or Ellor, I'm not positive. I did start this book like last year, year before, a couple years ago. Oh, in 2021. So probably 2022, maybe. But I did start it, and I just wasn't in the mood for it, didn't get into it, so I decided to softy enough it, and now I'm hoping to pick it up. Now, I didn't tell you anything about what the other two are about, but to be honest, I need to refresh what they are about to tell you. But I do know that this one is about alright, in typical fashion, my battery died, so the angle might be slightly different. Apologies. So, what was I talking about? I was talking about what this book is about. It's about a trans boy who is in the running for Homecoming King against his ex, and in their like rivalry to win the title, they also kind of like ruin their chances of having the homecoming dance in the process. So in order to save the dance, they'll have to face the hurt they're both hiding and the lingering butterflies they can't deny. So I'm pretty freaking excited. I don't think that they like broke up because he's trans. I don't think it was like, you're trans, I don't want to be with you, but it might have been like, I need to figure myself out, and we broke up. And then he comes out as trans, and now there's still these like lingering feelings of like, I still love you, but you're a boy, so what does that make me? I don't know, it just sounds really good. I feel like it's something that I will really like, but for whatever reason, I just didn't get into it the first time I tried. So hopefully we do have enough time to also get to this book, and hopefully I love it. So I am going to go and eat some dinner, watch some TV, and hopefully finish the Hunger Games. So I will see you guys once I have done that. Hi, I don't have long, but I'm getting ready to go to work. I just have to go to work for like literally 2 hours. But I wanted to update you while I got ready really quickly, or finished getting ready, because I did finish The Hunger Games this morning. So I didn't have, like I said, I'm rereading it with my friends, and we're using Fable to like discuss the chapters, and I only made like 3 remarks because there's really not a ton to say about it. Like, I remembered all of it. The only comments I made was that, like, no matter how many times I read that chapter or watch the scene in the movie, I cry every time over Rue. And then the scene with the Mutts and Kato, the same thing with that, except for crying. It's just like, it never gets less fucked up. Like, it's just insane. Like, the Mutts looking like the tributes, and Kato just laying there slowly, agonizingly dying for entertainment value. Like, that's just nuts. And like, I know that it said, like, you know, people at home like won't be able to look away. Like, if that was me, there's no way I could watch that. I'd be like, this is sick. Like, if anything, that's gonna cause more of a rebellion. But that's just me. But I'm level-headed, so I guess that's the difference. Yeah, like, I don't know. It's just crazy. It's crazy. But that's pretty much all my thoughts for the first one. I think for book 2 and 3, I'll definitely have more thoughts because it's going to be very different from the movies, and it's been so long since I reread them. But yeah, like, I wish I had more thoughts about Hunger Games, but also I'm not surprised I don't. So now I am going to start A Broken Blade. I think that that is going to be the next book that I start. And I'm going to see if I have it on audio. I think I do. I want to say I do. So I'm definitely going to try to listen to it on audio just to get through some more things, some more books this week. I might start it at work. I should probably grab my headphones just in case. So I might do that. But once I do in fact start it, I will give you some thoughts and tell you what it's about once I find out. Hey guys, it is Thursday night. My hair is currently drying. I wanted to update you because I have been reading. I just have not been updating you. But I have been reading A Broken Blade. Before we get into it, I need to show you how stunning this edition is. I showed you like the stenciled edges and everything, and I showed you the cover and maybe the end pages. But look, do you see that iridescent foil that is on the entirety of the book? That's amazing. I am so happy that I got the Bookish Box edition. I'm pretty sure I got it in a box. I think I was still subscribed when this book came out and they had it in their box. I don't think I like purposely sought it out or anything, but it's stunning. I'm currently a little over 50%. I think I'm like 53% of the way through it. I am really liking it. So let me tell you what it's about. It is about a girl who is a halfling, which means that she is half elf or fae, I believe. All halflings in this realm, like, they're like owned by the king and basically have to do like whatever he says, whatever role he assigns and things like that. And for halflings, they're like taken away from their family. They are then put on this island to be trained and then carry out the will of the king. Some of them work at brothels, some of them are just like playthings, some of them are killed, some of them are assassins, some of them are army members, some of them are the maids. Like, it's just whatever they want. So we're following this girl who is the king's assassin, and there is this person called the Shadow who is like causing mischief in the kingdom. And basically her task is to find out who the Shadow is and to kill him. And I think that's like all I'll tell you of what this book is about. But I am really, really liking it so far. It is so good. I definitely feel like, at least so far, this is a great YA adult crossover. Like, this is technically an adult book, but it reads like so like fast paced and quickly like a teen book does. It doesn't have like a ton of world building or like complex political climate or anything like that. It's just a really nice like segue into adult fiction. So if you're somebody who reads teen and wants to get more into adult, I would definitely recommend this for you. Or you just want something a little bit lighter, like in terms of complexity, I think this is your ticket. The only thing I don't like is that so far it's not queer. It is not queer at all. Like, I need to finish it and then look into potentially why this was categorized as an LGBTQ book. on Goodreads. Like, it wasn't like, you know, this year's, you know, queer read or anything, but there were quite a few people who were shelving it on some sort of LGBTQ shelf. And I know that it has touched on a relationship from history, and I couldn't fully tell if they were using the word partner just in general, but I also am pretty sure, I'm gonna like reread the chapter, I'm pretty sure that it was two men. So like maybe that's why people are shelving it that way, of like, it does have a queer romance, but it's like, we're told in passing, it's something that happened like millennia ago. It's not a queer book, at least so far. Maybe it'll change. I was kind of hoping, because like as I was reading it, I was like, where's the queerness gonna come in? And I was kind of hoping maybe she just assumes the shadow is a man, but maybe it'll turn out that it is a female. But no, the shadow's a man. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe she is going to fall in love with a woman. We'll find out together. So far, reading queer books for Rita Marie for Pride Month is a bust. I just wanted to update you because I have in fact been reading. It is Thursday. I recognize that. So we may only get to one other book. The future for us is still up in the air, but I am reading a book. I am enjoying it. It is for Rita Marie. That's all I got. That's all I got. I have been reading a lot of A Broken Blade, and it is so freaking good. I'm enjoying it so much, you guys. I'm loving it. There's like adventure, magic, fae, found family, political intrigue. I'm just loving it. I'm super duper loving it. I did go back and reread that chapter that I was telling you guys about and determining if this is actually a queer book, and it is not. It is not a queer book at all. So, I mean, it is, but it isn't. So the main romance is not queer, but the small tidbit about the history of how their world came about, that had a queer romance in it. And it's like literally maybe even a page long, but I guess because it had some sort of queer representation, some people marked this as a queer shelved book, which like makes sense because it does have positive queer representation, that it doesn't like question or like, oh my god, he was with a man. Like, it's just like normal as it should be. So I get it, but I totally expected either the main character or like one of the main side characters would have been queer, and so far not the case. I mean, the one character may be like bi or queer or something, but honestly it's never been said, so couldn't tell you. Like I said, I'm still enjoying the book, so I'm gonna get in bed. I'm going to hopefully finish this. I feel like I'm pretty far into it, so I think I can easily finish it. And then tomorrow we're actually going kayaking. So I am bringing my Kindle, I'm bringing my earbuds, so I will be reading while on the water, and I'm very, very, very excited and looking forward to it so much. I will see you guys probably tomorrow when I get home, or maybe I will like do a little check-in with you when I first get up, but I have to get up very early because this is like an all-day extravaganza. So see you then. Okay, ignore everything that's happening here. My hair looks so bad. But I have a lot of reading updates to update you on, so we're just gonna ignore it. My hair has been in a hat all day from kayaking, so it's like flat and, you know, whatever. I do also want to clarify that after kayaking I did take a shower, that I did wash the lake off of my body. Anyways, let's talk about reading updates. Last night / technically like this morning, I did finish A Broken Blade, and I really, really enjoyed it. I really liked it. I saw something happening, or coming, I should say, but not what happened at the end of the book. I feel like that kind of came out of nowhere. Like, there were definitely hints, but I thought something else was going on. So that was a surprise, and I love being surprised. I also told you guys that I don't know why people are shelving this as queer when it's like really not. The only queer romance is one from history of how the world was formed and stuff like that. And so I was a little sad that I picked it for Pride Month as a Pride Month read. But I'm not going to tell you how, but there is a queer romance that to me justifies completely why people were saying that this should be shelved as LGBTQ or queer, and it does make it, I mean, not like the most in-your-face queer read and for Pride Month, but totally qualifies for a Pride Month read. So I'm very, very happy about that. So as for my rating, I think I'm going to give it a 4.5 where I can, but a 4 on the places I can't. Because I definitely really, really liked it, but I don't know, it didn't have like that 5-star quality. Like I can't justify, like if somebody asks like, why is this a 5-star to you? I couldn't tell you. So I'm like, I guess it's really more of a 4-star. Like in my heart, it just feels like, yeah, I guess that's a 4. Like there's nothing in me to fight myself on making it a 5. You know, like I really, really liked it, but is it a 5-star? I don't know. And I might change my mind and be like, no, it is a 5-star read. It's definitely going in my favorites list, which sometimes 4 stars do because they do kind of fit that like 4 point something mark. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm definitely reading the next book. It is a queer read. And yeah, I just liked it. I really liked it. Then while I was on the water, which this is not for Rita Marie at all, but I figure I might as well tell you about it because I don't think I'm going to get a chance to talk about it elsewhere on this channel because I don't know why I would. But I got a book for review, which was actually pretty funny how I did. So I was just like on Instagram and I was scrolling stories and a story popped up that was like, put your name here or put your email here for a free book. And I was like, okay. So I did it. Did I read anything, look at anything, figure out what I was doing? No, I was just like, okay. And then it was like, okay, great. Here's the link to get your review copy. You're now part of our ARC street team. Please review this book in 60 days. And I was like, what the fuck did I just sign up for? Like, what book? Is it good? Am I going to have time to read it in 60 days? Like, I just saw a box and filled in what it asked for. Never have I ever. But it actually ended up being for a novella, which just came out earlier this year. It came out in March. And it's called Lily and Thorne by Rhiannon Hargadon, I think. Or Hargadon. It looks like this. And it was only like 90 some pages. So I was like, oh, okay. Like, that's totally fine. I did bring my earbuds on the lake and my Kindle, but I was like, I just kind of feel like reading something just for fun. Like, I'm just like super relaxed and zenned out on this river. I just want to float in my kayak and read a book. I decided to just go ahead and pick up this novella because I was like, great, I can just knock it out. Sure as shit I did. I technically finished it after midnight because I did take a nap after getting home today, and then I finished the book really quick. So I did read the entire thing. I don't know what I'm giving this book. Somewhere between a 4 and 5, but I just, like, there's not a ton of depth to it, and it's kind of like a cozy fantasy, but smutty, and it was so freaking good. Like, you know, I would watch YouTubers, like, specifically the one that pops in my mind all the time is Brittany the Bibliophile, whose batteries would die all the time. Like, every single vlog, her battery's dying at least once. And I'm like, girl, just pay attention. And now I get it, because now I'm that person. And part of it is that I changed my camera settings, and now I can't see what percentage my battery's at. Like, I only know when it's flashing that it's going to soon die, and I should just stop. So that's a nice transition, but I don't. So we needed to change some things about our life, you know? But anyways, I was talking about Lily and Thorne. Yeah, it's a cozy fantasy romance with smut. It does have some trigger warnings. But I really liked it. I really, really liked it. The ending was very cliffhangery. Like, I totally expected this book to just be exactly how it was when starting it, where it was, like, very cozy and whimsy and, like, sweet but spicy and kind of just, like, going with the flow. Like, there's really not a ton of conflict in this book other than, like, her past trauma, which is wonderful because, like, she doesn't need any more trouble, you know? And by her, I mean Lily, the main female character. But even, like, this guy... So the premise of the book, I should probably tell you that. The premise of the book is that there is a snowstorm. Lily owns a bookstore. And there's a snowstorm on her way back home because she, like, lives and works out of the building that her bookstore is in. She's on her way home during the snowstorm. And she hits a shirtless man who ends up, like, turns out he's a fae. she doesn't find this out until like way later, but turns out he's a fae. And when she calls 911, this storm is so huge, they're like, unless this is life-threatening, we're not going to be able to come to you in this storm. Like, if anything changes, let us know, but like, we are so overwhelmed with calls, and this is just not a priority, because he was knocked unconscious, but like, there were no signs of internal or external injuries, and so like the dispatcher just like walked her through like signs to look for if he doesn't wake up versus if he does wake up and stuff like that, and like call us back if we need to come out there, but otherwise like we don't have time for this. And so like when she tells her best friend, like, I hit this man with my car, he's a fae, XYZ of other crazy things that like happen in this book, her friend's just like, bet, okay. You're in it, so am I. We are on the same wavelength. I'm not going to question you. I'm not going to even say that's crazy. I'm just going to say, okay, pivot. What do we do? You know, like, so I'm almost wondering, like, is her best friend maybe fae too? Because especially, like, with what happens at the end, I'm like, why is she so calm? How does she know? I don't know. Unless she's just like, this girl is just so wackadoodle all the time that I just go with it. Like, just whatever. But I don't know. But anyways, I thought that it would stay just like, you know, cutesy, sweet but spicy, whimsy, cozy fantasy. But then at the end, it gets pretty wild. And then we have like this giant cliffhanger ending. And I'm just like, what? What? And to also be fair, there is a trope that I'm not going to tell you what it is because then it spoils the whole ending. But there's a trope that's used at the ending, which like it always gets me. But at the same time, I don't really like it. Like, it always gets me, and it keeps me definitely going to be reading book 2. But at the same time, I'm like, we basically have to start over, is all I'll say. And it's just nuts. And then now I'm kind of wondering, like now that I'm thinking about it with you guys, maybe her friend is so calm because the story isn't actually linear. What if this all happens because of that? But like, that's nuts. Like, that's getting into like, you know, wormholes, dimensions, you know, things I don't like thinking about because it freaks me out. But that would be crazy. But anyways, finished that. Just freaking loved it. I absolutely loved it. So now I need to find out, like, is book 2 out and when can I read it? Because it's great. And I also need to write a review for it. So, So then I needed to crochet because I don't know if I've told you in any of my vlogs. I think I must have. I've been vlogging a lot in the month of June, so I had to have mentioned it at least once. I'm doing a crochet along this month, and what that means is it is for the Blood Cancer Association, and you raise money and pledge to knit or crochet every single day this month to like raise money. And my goal technically was like $150, and I've raised $110. So, and they were like from 2 total strangers. So I'm like, did you mean to donate to somebody else? Total confusion. But whatever, I'll take it. 2 random total strangers donated to me, and I have been doing very, very good about crocheting every single freaking day. There has only been 2 days this month that I haven't. One was when I got super sick. Did not crochet, didn't even think about it. And then the second one just happened like 2 days ago because I completely just forgot. I just completely forgot. I'm now like slightly fudging the numbers because what I'm going to do for the next 2 days, the last days of the month, is I'm going to crochet like before I go to bed that night, because I don't go to bed until like at the earliest 2, but usually it's like 3 o'clock. So I'm going to crochet before I go to bed after midnight though, and then again later that day to kind of like make up those days. I'm going to do that on the 29th and the 30th, but then I'm also then going to tack on 2 more days that I have to crochet, just so that like in my heart and soul I have not cheated this, you know? Because I'm like, I am crocheting every day, and like this is such a huge feat at the same time. I'm doing that and I can't do any footage of like what I'm crocheting because it's a present for my friend and I don't know if she watches my videos, so I don't want to show it, even though it's so freaking impressive, and you guys will definitely see it when it's done, because by that time I would have already given it to her by the time the video goes out, so that's fine. But anyways, I needed to crochet, and so I was like, I should start a Read 'em or Reap book because there's only 2 days left of the month, and I need to at least get 1 more book under my belt. So I did start a book, but it's not the book that I was expecting to pick up next, and I honestly didn't know if I was going to get time to pick it up, but I was like, you know what, I have an audio, let's just pick it up. So you're probably guessing what that is. based on what I told you at the beginning of this vlog. So I picked up May the Best Man Win by Z.R. Ellor. Yes, Z.R. Ellor. I told you a little bit of what this book is about, but let's rehash it because I have now started it and I'm like 25, I think, percent of the way through it. So this book is about, it's dual point of view between a boy named Jeremy who is trans and his ex, whose name just fell right out of my head, Lucas. Wow. So it alternates POV between Jeremy and Lucas, who used to date, but then Jeremy broke up with Lucas, transitioned over the summer, and now they're in their senior year, and both boys are running for homecoming king. Now the thing is that Jeremy never told Lucas why he was breaking up with him, or even that he was trans, or anything. They've been like best friends since like elementary, middle school, I believe, and like to Lucas, like Jeremy just like wigged out one day, dumped him for no reason. It was actually on the day of his brother's funeral, by the way. Just no contact, cut off their friendship, transitioned, did a legal name change, is now on T, and has come back to school and is just acting like nothing ever happened. And then on top of that, we also have autism representation from Lucas. So like to him, like you're throwing off his entire routine. On top of that, he doesn't understand what happened at all. Like, to the outside person getting both POVs, there are like slight clues of why they would have broken up if you read between the lines, but also like Jeremy is extremely selfish. Like on one hand, he's super valid because of this whole like body dysphoria, coming to terms with being trans. Like there's a lot of like emotions, and on top of that, just being a teenager and being just super over the top dramatic. But also like I don't think there was any way for Lucas to figure it out with or without being autistic, but especially with being autistic. And for Jeremy to be such a close friend to them for so long, like my God, is Jeremy so freaking selfish, because that never even registered to them. Like I just got to a scene, and I'm not going to tell you like what exactly happens, but I just got to a scene where they kind of like have a confrontation where Lucas says like, I have no idea why you even broke up with me. And it never even registered to Jeremy that they wouldn't know what happened. And then Jeremy also says something like super hurtful, which like again in Jeremy's mind I kind of understand. So what Jeremy says, that's not so much a spoiler, but what Jeremy says is, because Lucas says something like was our relationship ever real? Were you ever my girlfriend? And Jeremy says, no, I was never your girlfriend, or something along those lines. Basically meaning, because I'm a boy. In Jeremy's mind, he's saying, I was never your girlfriend because I was actually your boyfriend. But in Lucas's mind, because he's autistic, you're just saying you read the entire situation wrong, which is what Lucas does all the time because of his autism. So like, my God, how hurtful. So like, I feel like this book is going to be very important, and I'm hoping that like the whole point of the book is Jeremy changing the way that he treats people, because Jeremy so far has been extremely self-centered, selfish, doesn't give a shit about family, friends, nobody. Like nobody. And then on top of that, adding in like this white person view of the queer community, and also coming from a place of entitlement, like not only just like white privilege, but Jeremy comes from wealth. So Jeremy has all the resources to get a legal name change, start taking testosterone, fight the school to make sure that he's being treated fairly. He already just mentioned that his mom already agreed to his top surgery before going off to college. Like resources, a lot of resources that other people don't have, and not necessarily because of race, but like, I don't know. I'm like, rightfully so, if you ask me, because having more and more of an issue with like the white lens of queerness, because it's always extremely self-centered. The smallest issue is the end of the world. And it's like, you know, the things that Jeremy's bringing up, because like, okay, for example, Jeremy goes to the like queer alliance group that is at the school, and not because he wants to, but basically because he's like kind of, is it blackmail, I guess, or bribed Basically, he wants someone's help who is part of the Queer Alliance, and they're like, if you come to a meeting, I'll help you. So Jeremy goes, even though he doesn't want to, and he's like, all these people are losers, I don't know who these people are, and like Jeremy's biggest thing is like he wants to be seen as a boy, but he doesn't want to be seen as a trans boy. And that's valid, but also like he is taking things the wrong way, whether they are meant to be like pro-trans or anti-trans. Like he's just like, why is that my whole identity? Be like, well, because these people have known you as a certain way, and like you're taking, I completely understand, like I'm definitely speaking from a point of view of somebody who doesn't fully get it, and I acknowledge that. But it's also like, I get that it can be overwhelming sometimes, so sometimes he would kind of freak out, whether it's like somebody who's trying to do the right thing or the wrong thing, but it's all the time he's just like mad and pissed. And like, to me, that comes from a white identity 9 times out of 10 than it comes from a person of color. Because for one, they have a historical record of not being able to like feel their feelings and their pain and to like scream it from the rooftops and like get that like global recognition. But at the same time, like they have so many other issues that like that's the least of their problems, So like I just am becoming more and more aware and having an issue with like the white queer community, because it is very self-centered, and like my life is so hard because of this one small thing that really truly isn't consequential to my existence or anything, when it's like so many other people in the community are having a much harder time than you, but you also don't fight for them or like pull them with you when you go up. You know what I mean? So it's just like, anyways, Jeremy is definitely coming from that point of view, and I'm hoping that by the end of this book he has like a major personality change where he does become a better friend, he does become a better person, because it's just so about him, and the people around him are having issues and he just has blinders on, and then when it's called out he also still just doesn't care, and that's not cool. Like, we get it. You're trans, you're going through a lot of stuff, but your best friend who's been there for you the entire time, she's also going through some really hard stuff. You call out the kids in the school's queer group of like being part of the problem because they're not willing to put their lives and their futures at stake by either being out or making a bigger splash on campus. Because like Jeremy asked, like, oh, what do you guys do for homecoming? Because like homecoming is a big deal at their school, where like, there's booster clubs and parades and floats. Like it's a big thing. There's like presentations and stuff. So it's like, what do you guys do for homecoming? They're like, we normally don't do anything for homecoming. Our goal is to just help each other survive and get through high school. Like, our goal is just a safe haven. And Jeremy basically like calls them out and says they're not doing enough for the cause, because like you're just helping the other side by being silent. And it's like, not necessarily. And like they do kind of like have a little pushback with him and kind of explain like, there's some kids in this group who aren't out yet. They don't like, right now their main focus isn't about like establishing rights, it's about surviving. Like, that's your job. Your job as the white queer person is to fight for the rights. We need to try to just survive, and you can't just call us out and say that we're part of the problem without hearing and understanding our point of view. So they do have like a little pushback with it, and they also say like, there's a couple other trans kids that Jeremy had no idea even existed in the school. So like, again, completely selfish. But like, the one is 14, and their parents literally threatened to pull them out of school if they kept asking for beta blockers. So it's like, they come from a totally different experience where like they're not accepted. Like, Jeremy's mom is having a hard time with it, but at the same time she's accepting it. She's just like having trouble with it. Like, there's literally kids who can't tell their parents at all, would be disowned or hurt or killed, and you're just like, you're part of the problem. Like, it's stuff like that that's happening in this book. So I'm like having a little bit of a problem because it's over the top. Like, it's teen angst plus just this horrible white representation. Completely valid, but it's just, it's horrible that this is the way it is. Like, once your eyes are open to it, you see it all the time now, and you're like, holy shit. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, you have like this teen angst of like over the top drama mixed in with these identities and things like that, and these political issues. And like, I'm hoping and I'm thinking, because it's just a bit ridiculous, but it's so over the top and it's so bad and just selfish and mean, that I'm hoping the goal of the book is that he's the problem. Because, like, something happens and his friend gets really hurt by it and stops talking to him, and like other people in school start calling him an asshole and everything, and he's like, I just wonder what the response would be if I was a cis man and that happened. And I was like, again, you are self-centering yourself in the issue. You hurt your friend. People aren't calling you an asshole because you're trans. They're calling you an asshole because you're an asshole. Like, you just happen to be trans. You're still a fucking asshole. So I'm hoping the main point of the book is like a reality check for Jeremy. Because right now I'm like not liking the book because of how awful Jeremy is, but like everyone else is calling it out. And luckily it is dual POV, so like we get Lucas's point of view as somebody who both has been hurt by Lucas but also has an outsider point of view on the situation that's going on. Or I mean Jeremy, I think I said Lucas when I meant to say Jeremy. In Lucas's POV, he sees what's happening with Jeremy. So like luckily that is balancing it, because I'm like, this is horrible that it is Pride Month. I'm reading a queer book where I thought the whole point was going to be like, who's going to win homecoming king? Will they be together at the end? And instead, like, the queer person is the problem, and I'm on the side of the cis man. Never thought I'd be in this boat, but it's super valid. And I'm hoping that, like, it is still, like, a positive queer book, because I'm hoping that Jeremy, like, sees the rest of the community and understands his flaws and has some more self-acceptance. Because I think Jeremy has a lot more to do internally, because like you're just perceiving this because that's how the world wants you to perceive it, you know? But yeah, it's a tough read, because I'm just like, I don't like you, Jeremy, at all. At all. I don't like you at all. But I'm thinking it'll get better by the end. That's what I'm hoping for anyways. Plus I'm also really, really liking the autism rep from Luke's point of view. Like it's really interesting. It's really good. The only thing is that I think so far there's been like 2 pop culture references, and one of them I was like, ugh, that didn't age well. That's not very timely. But at the same time, like, nope, it makes total sense for this book at the same time. It was a Tesla, by the way, but yeah, I feel like there was like one other thing I wanted to say about this, but now I sure as heck can't remember. So I think I'm going to get in bed, play some games on my phone, and I don't think I'm going to read any more of it tonight. Like I should, but I also just like, I need a break from this book. I surely need a break. In the morning, I'm getting my nails done, thank goodness, and also I think doing a little bit of babysitting, which I'm very excited about, but I will update you once I've read more of this book, and hopefully it gets better. Sorry, I just remembered the other thing I wanted to talk about with you guys about this book. Because Jeremy never told Lucas that he was trans, he broke up with him with the assumption that he wasn't okay with it, and with the assumption that he's straight, when so far from Lucas's POV, like, he had no idea why he was broken up with, which means, like, he is autistic, but it never crossed his mind that that would be the reason, because, like, a cis straight man would be like, well, obviously now that I know that he's trans, like, that's why he broke up with me, because I date women. Like, that has never crossed Lucas's mind, and, like, Lucas is still obsessed with Jeremy. So I'm like, you broke up your amazing relationship where you were both each other's, like, lifeline, because you assumed, like, you thought the worst of the person who knows you the best. Like, Jeremy's biggest problem is just, like, self-sabotage. I think at the end of this, Luke is going to be like, I'm not straight. Like, I would be with you as a man. And that's crazy. Like, that's totally nuts. Because, again, you're so selfish that you're just making assumptions about people and then freaking out before they happen. And it is self-preservation. Like, I get that. Of, like, I don't want to be hurt, so I'm going to hurt you first. But also, like, Jeremy, I don't think has ever actually been hurt. The entitlement. But alright, I'm going to bed. Hey guys, it is the night of 4th of July. I have not been celebrating anything other than having a day off. If you know, you know. But I came on here to talk to you because it's been so long. I have taken a couple days off of reading for no good reason. I did read a pretty large chunk of May the Best Man Win on Wednesday at Silent Book Club. And I now only have like 60 or 80 some pages left. It's literally this little tiny sliver right here. So I'm hoping right now maybe to go ahead and finally finish up this book because I would really like to start reading something else. As far as my opinions of the book, they have changed a little tiny bit. So Jeremy has started to kind of come to terms that he hasn't been the best friend or partner or confidant or anything. And so they're kind of starting to see that. But something that was interesting that I didn't love, but at the same time it was honest, he has a conversation with his best friend, and she kind of brings up how like she has been there through everything, and she understands that like maybe sometimes her problems don't seem like that big of a deal to him, but those are the problems that she's going through, and just like she's been there for him, he should be there for her. And she was also like really honest by saying like, you know, comparing the two, I can see that I've been a little bit dramatic, but you know, I just feel like I've been in your shadow for so long. Like before you transitioned, I was always jealous of you because everything came so easily to you. And now that he's transitioned, she kind of guiltily felt this weight fall off her shoulders. Like, now that he's no longer my competition, maybe I can take the role that he played. But what I didn't like, but is also very honest, is Jeremy was like, no, I need to do better, and I recognize that. And she was like, you know, I'm willing to continue to be best friends if you're willing to change. And he was like, all I can say is I can try. And like internally he was like, I don't know if I can be less selfish. And I didn't love that. I mean, it is honest because like you can't just change overnight. Like change slowly happens. Like it starts with you setting your mindset to change, but like you're gonna fumble and make mistakes. And if his friend is like, you know, the first time that you slip up or done again, like that's just not realistic. So I have like complicated feelings with that. I also absolutely hate the principal. She's a piece of shit. I can't wait to see how this book resolves. I am really loving the autistic rep. As somebody who doesn't have experience, like I don't have anybody in my family who I know for a fact is autistic. I am not autistic. I'm saying it's a really good rep. But, you know, take that with a grain of salt because I could be super wrong. But it seems to be a really good representation and a very, like, caring. Like, he is not put into a negative light because of his autism. Like, it's very thoughtfully done. So I feel like the author either deals with autism or knows somebody who is autistic because it's handled really well, in my opinion. I really like it. And I will also say that Jeremy did have, like, another breakthrough where he has this really big problem. And as somebody on, you know, who's not trans, I don't fully get it. You know, I appreciate hearing it from, you know, it's a fictional character, but I appreciate hearing it from the trans point of view, but it doesn't make sense to me. And maybe this is, in my opinion, it's like kind of like self-accepting because I like where the book is going, but maybe somebody who does live as trans doesn't like it. I don't know. But Jeremy kind of has a breakthrough because he has, to me, a problem where he doesn't want to be viewed as a trans man. He just wants to be viewed as a man. And that I kind of get, but he takes it to the extreme. And in my opinion, and what other characters have pointed out is like, you're giving toxic masculinity because you are a man, but you're also trans and you should own that rather than try to erase it because you're just following the colonizer mindset, you know? And I don't like that. And that's why I was saying like, this feels very much like the white queer mindset that I don't love, that is like very rooted in toxic masculinity, colonizer, you know, other sort of speech. And he's finally starting to come to terms of owning that he's a trans man instead of trying to be like, I'm not trans, I'm just a man. Like, but you are trans. And it is interesting some of the other issues it brings up, like he's trans and he's gay. And so dealing with that whole like, you know, you'll never understand what it's like being a cis gay man. Like, wow. Like, I'm starting to understand more the anti-trans relations within the queer community. Like, before it made no sense to me. I mean, it still doesn't make any sense, but like, I understand now of like what you mean when you say that, like, you know, some people are not okay with the T in LGBTQ. And now I'm like, oh. And again, it's very deeply rooted in that toxic masculinity, colonizer mindset that I don't love. And like, it's all coming out, you know? It's all kind of like making sense, but I'm like, oh, that's why. Ew. But yeah, this book is like, it's definitely getting better as the book goes on. I'm now even though we're like, 70-80% of the way in the book, I now want to read from Jeremy's point of view. Because before I'm like, I just want to read Lucas's point of view because I don't like Jeremy as a person. And I think I said this to you guys before, like, you're an asshole not because you're trans, but because you're just an asshole. And like, he keeps being like, you're saying I'm an asshole just because I'm trans. You're homophobic or you're anti-trans. No, you're just an asshole, bud. You'd be an asshole if you weren't a man. You're an asshole and you're a man. Like that, two separate issues. You just happen to be trans, but you're still an asshole no matter what. So the book it's getting good. I'm feeling like it's a 4-star at the end of the day. Like, I understand that I'm not supposed to like Jeremy, but like, I really don't like Jeremy. And like, it's good thing Lucas has chapters in here, and good thing I'm listening to it on audio, or I would probably put it down like I did the first time. So I am gonna get in bed, hopefully finish this book. I won't be able to update you guys again until later tomorrow, because I am babysitting my godchildren and I'm really excited about it. And then I do need to film a video. So I will do all that and then check in with you guys and then just see where we are and decide if I'm going to try to read one more book or if we're just going to wrap this up. I'm leaning towards wrapping it up, but we'll see. Hey guys, it is time to wrap up this episode of Read 'em or Read, but before we do so, I do have a couple of house updates for you guys. So first, tomorrow, we are having a little birthday party for my best friend. So I have gone around, cleaned up some rooms, and I do also have some improvements to show you. So the first one is just like a cleanup. So this is the dining room. I have consolidated all of the boxes on that side. And then I just have a couple, bits and bobs to the right. The kitchen is mostly cleaned up, but all of that is kind of just like straightened up. The next part is really, really exciting, and it is an upgrade. So let me show you our laundry room now. Okay, so it is going to be a little bit loud because the dryer is going, but as you can see, we now have a platform for the washer and dryer to go on, and then the cat boxes. And what's really cool, let me show you. So when I am wanting to do laundry, I can do this. And just like that, the cat boxes are gone, and I now have access to this. This cart can get pushed back, and then I can get up on here to access the washer. So I have the cart moved back, and then now I can get up here and do laundry. And then step down, put it in the dryer. When I'm all done, pull out the cat boxes. And then in my library, so it's a little bit of a mess, but I have all my boxes broken down from my books. And then I did show you guys that I had a inflatable couch here that we use for camping as temporary, but we have in fact finished the office, and I bought something to replace the couch because we found out our air pump isn't working well anymore, and the couch kept like deflating, and it's not because it has a hole, it's just not getting enough air in it from the pump, so we have to get a new one of those. But I did buy something that I've been wanting for a very, very long time, and I plan on keeping it in the office after we redo this room, but currently it is in there because we were trying it out. But let me show you the office now. So when you walk in, this is what you see. To the right is my husband's desk, and the left is mine. And then here is the purchase that we got, this giant Big Joe beanbag. And the plan is that this little corner is going to be a gaming corner. So we have all of our systems down here on this entertainment center. A TV, which we are going to get a little bit of a bigger one. That one is a 32, I believe. But check out just how large this beanbag is. Are you joking? Are you joking? It is 6 foot. Okay, so let's get together and talk about the 2 books that we read for this episode and my final thoughts. So as we know, the first book was A Broken Blade by Melissa Blair. This book was so freaking good, and I keep debating on if I should just go ahead and give it a 5-star, but it honestly, like, there's just something missing. It's definitely like a 4.5, 4.75, but it is a 4. So I'm just going to leave it alone. But it was absolutely amazing. I'm definitely keeping this book, especially this amazing Bookish Box edition, and I just loved it. I cannot wait to read the next books in the saga. I'm pretty sure that the 4th book either just came out or is about to come out, so I need to get on it. And then finally last night I did in fact finish May the Best Man Win. I don't know what to give this book. I think I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 4, but I'm honestly going back and forth between a 3 and a 4. If it was sent to me for review, specifically the audiobook, I would probably lean more towards a 3. I enjoyed the audio, but the narrator did not change their voice like at all for a majority of the characters. So it was especially hard going back and forth between Jeremy and Lucas's point of view because their voices were basically the same. So it was a bit confusing. But overall, Jeremy did have some growth. I did enjoy aspects of this book. I felt like the ending was a little bit of a cop-out. It ended a little too neatly, is a bit over the top in the drama. Like, it is very much a high school teen book. And just the fact, like, it was kind of annoying the fact that the homecoming played such a huge role to the fact of, like, I might not get into an Ivy because I didn't win Homecoming King. Like, what? What? And the principal was horrible. It didn't make any sense of the things that students were able to get away with. Like, so many students should have been expelled, but whatever. So that's why I'm like, overall it wasn't bad. I liked the growth. I really liked the autism rep. I liked the queer rep overall in the book, but I did not enjoy our main character because he is a total asshole, which again, there is growth, but still, I think I'm gonna give it a 3.5 on Storygraph, but maybe a 3 everywhere else. I think so. Like, the book was okay. The book was honestly okay. Would I recommend it to others? Yeah. I have no problem with telling people to pick this up. I have no problem putting this on library displays or anything like that. It just wasn't the best. So yeah, I think I'll just settle for a 3. Also, Pepe completely loves this beanbag and pretty much thinks that I bought him a giant cat bed, but that's fine. I'm totally willing to share. There's more than enough room for me, my husband, and him on this giant thing. Like, I don't think you understand the gravity of just how large this beanbag is. It's 6 foot. 6 foot. Now, I do wish that I would have read Ladies' Night. I don't know when the heck I'm gonna get to that book, but Epic Reads is currently, like, you know, revamping their whole site, so I feel like I have some time, and I kind of really would rather listen to the audiobook, so I'm waiting for that to come in. It's a whole thing, but eventually I will get to it. But I did do my bare minimum of 2 books, so we're still on track for the bare minimum goal for the year. But alright guys, don't forget to keep reading, stay safe, and I will definitely see you in my next one. Bye! People say